It's just all about love and life and living in freedom. That's what it's all about for me now.
Welcome to the Rich Spinster Podcast. This is Alexis, broadcasting from the United States of shit. The United States of ain't this enough? The United States of are you fucking kidding me? The United States of absolute absurdity. The United States of abysmal. The United States of apathy. The United States of appalling. The United States of amorality. If we are going to allow people in this country to go hungry, it is so upsetting to me that millions of people across this country are probably going to lose their SNAP benefits. I do not understand, as a Christian nation, so called, how it is ever okay for people to be hungry, for children to be hungry. What happened to all that right to life stuff? Because after a baby is born, it has to be fed. And no one cares who agrees with how the baby got here or what people should do. People are living their lives. They're doing the best they can with what they have. They're doing the best they can with what they know. They're doing the best that they can. And sometimes the best that people can do is $7.25 an hour, which is the federal minimum wage that they don't want to raise. $7.25 an hour, full-time job, and you have 2 kids and you have to pay rent in this country. And with soaring food costs, how do you all expect these people to be fed? And there is this attitude, let's talk about this for a second. There is this attitude about people who are poor, that poverty is somehow fun for them, that it's fun to not be able to pay your light bill, that it's fun to have to wait and scrape by for weeks until you can get a few extra dollars. That's not fun for people. And there is this myth about poverty that is really has spread throughout, honestly, both parties in the United States. There's this myth that people who are poor because they're lazy. The truth of the matter is, you are closer to being poor than you are to being rich. Most people in this country are closer to being poor than they are to being rich. And the fact that there is no empathy for the poor, but there's a pass, a golden pass for billionaires who don't give a damn about you. They don't care about you. There's been all kinds of videos online telling people, well, they should work. I work. People who get food stamps, people who get public assistance, they work. They're working people. The majority of them are working people who don't make enough to make it without assistance. What are we paying taxes for if it's not to ensure that people can at least eat in this country, that children can at least eat in this country? I am not a person who has ever needed to be on government assistance. And fortunately, I wasn't raised in a family on government assistance. But that makes me lucky. That makes me lucky. It doesn't make me better. And the idea that you are better, so it's okay for people to not eat, is disgusting. Y'all need to check your morality out there, because that is the most immoral thing that I have just ever heard. It should never be okay for people to be hungry. It should never be okay with you that people in this country will be hungry, no matter what. And I stand on that no matter what their beliefs are, no matter their background. People in one of the richest nations in the world should not have to go hungry. That's very simple. First of all, that's a very low fucking bar to have as a nation. feeding its citizens is a low bar to have when you are a wealthy nation. And there are people in this country who are happy about that. You know why? Because they think that they have a chance. They think they will never be in that situation. People are so close to having nothing. And they're delusional to think otherwise. You are out of your mind to think otherwise. You are much closer to needing SNAP benefits than you are to being Elon Musk. If people are making $7.25 an hour, let's say, how do you make $7.25 an hour working full time with two children, paying rent, paying your car note or public transportation, paying insurance, and being able to feed you and your children? That is not fun. Being poor is not the good life. And this lie, that this poverty shaming we do of people, and this lie that they enjoy not having is absolute bullshit, and it's bad for you. Okay? It's horrendous because it robs you of your humanity. You can't look at another person, you can't look at children and say they should be fed, because you never know when somebody's going to have to feed you one day. And the way things are going, listen, the way things are going, you might be in that line too. And if you're in that line too, wouldn't you want other people to see your humanity? I Listen, some of y'all need to have a good hard look at your souls. Miss me with the argument that poor people are just lazy and don't want to work. Of course, in any group, okay, you can find lazy people. You can find people who want to do the least they can do. Hell, you can find that at your job. There's somebody at your job right now collecting a paycheck, probably a pretty significant paycheck, and that person is doing the bare minimum. And oftentimes you're sitting there at your desk in your fucking cubicle wondering, how the fuck does Melissa still work here? How does she have a job still? Right? So there are people in every group that you can look at and use as an example of someone who is skirting the system somehow. But that's not the majority of the people. Get out of here. If you are fortunate enough, if you are privileged enough to not have ever been hungry, or to not have ever had to wait until you get your check to buy groceries, you're lucky. You're lucky. And you should want that for other people. If you have kids and your kids can go into the kitchen at any time and get something to eat or get a snack, you are fortunate, because not everybody has that. And I think the problem with growing up in a nation that is wealthy is that it does rob people of their humanity a little bit if they buy into it, if they allow themselves to believe that that wealth makes them better. But the problem is, too, this narrative of the American dream and all of that, even poor people buy into it. They buy into it and they think, I can be a millionaire. I can be a billionaire. All I have to do is work hard. That is a lie. But let me tell you something, with all these beliefs robbing people of their humanity, robbing them of their empathy for other people, I want you to know you can't eat those beliefs. You can't live off those beliefs. Those beliefs won't pay your bills. So you better hope all these beliefs keep you employed, because what they're doing is causing a lot of people to be unemployed. And what happens in a society where people have no food, when people are robbed of their opportunities? What happens in that society? They'll start eating the rich. And the rich doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to start eating, the millionaires and billionaires. No, do you have more than me? Do you have food in your house? I have no food in my house. And you cannot blame people who are hungry for acts of desperation. I hope it doesn't come to that point. I hope we collectively get in touch with our humanity. I hope we start to really give a damn about people and to say, you know what, no matter what, that person shouldn't starve. Not in the United States of America, not in the country so many people say that they love. Being pro life doesn't stop at birth. You don't have to even love your neighbor as yourself. Just don't root for your neighbor's harm. Just don't vote for your neighbor's harm. Because what you will find is that your neighbor's harm will eventually harm you too. So people who are online or people who just lack empathy for people who are disabled and need SNAP benefits, for a single mother or a family who doesn't make enough to take care of their children, what do those children do? Y'all don't give a damn about that? Y'all going to hell. If hell does exist, y'all are going to bust it wide open. I don't understand it, especially for you so-called religious people. For I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you welcomed me. Matthew 25:35. And I'm not even religious, but I think that's good advice. And let's be clear, people are hungry in the United States right now. They've been hungry in the United States right now. And I also think that people think that they're really racking it up when it comes to food stamps. Like there's no sort of requirements that people are on food stamps and they're getting thousands upon thousands of dollars. And then y'all don't even want people, y'all hate the poor so much you don't even want them to have snacks. What? What the? America hates the poor. America hates the poor. And a proof of that is I remember, what year was that? I think it was in 2004 that John Edwards was running for president. And I remember when everything happened with his political scandal. That is really when the voice for the poor stopped being put on the forefront of presidential politics. We heard a lot about the middle class, but John Edwards always talked about the poor. And what I know and what I realize from what I am observing and have observed is that America hates the poor. Even the poor hate the poor. There's a lot of poverty shaming that happens amongst poor people. And it's to not even want to not even want poor children to have a cookie is crazy. What is wrong with you people? What sort of fuckery has invaded your mind that that's okay with you? Y'all don't want people who get food stamps to have soda or snacks. And then you say, oh, it's because of the health. You don't give a damn about the health of children? Not in a country that is okay with not having universal health care, not in a country that is okay with pricing people out of health care with the rising premiums. No, that's just another way to give it to the poor. Just another way to stick it to people who are poor. Let me tell you something, it could be you. You know what really burns me too about this? It's always some toothless fuck living in middle of America who doesn't want people to have more than them. Well, they should get out and work like I do. They work. They work. Never mind everybody, half the people in your family are on benefits. Never mind that. If you look at the numbers of people who are on food assistance in this country, it may surprise you what they look like. It may surprise you who they are. And then you go to church on Sunday talking about great is thy faithfulness. What? What? That's what y'all doing? Okay. Oh, I would also like to say, if your church right now, it doesn't have a plan to feed people in communities, doesn't have a plan to feed people in the church who have either lost their jobs or people who are losing their benefits, y'all might need to rethink that membership. I mean, I would say rethink the membership for a lot of reasons, but that's a start. Truly, I tell you, whatever you do for the least of these, my brothers and sisters, you have done for me. Y'all in trouble. You Christians who are okay with people starving, y'all are in trouble. We got a lot of people driving around in their Ford trucks, playing Lee Greenwoods, proud to be American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died who gave that right to me, so I'll gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. Because there ain't no doubt I love this place. God bless the USA. That motherfucker right there, that man right there who's driving around in that F-250, that's going to be the one. Because one day he's going to go to the store and he's not going to have enough to feed his family. His farm is bankrupt. And his president, who he voted for, has said, fuck the farmers. I'm going to give this money to Venezuela. That's the voice we need to hear from. And we're hearing more and more from them. So what is he going to do when he can't feed his family? I hope people have the empathy for him that he didn't have for them. And listen, all of these videos of people saying racist things and getting their asses kicked, you guys, please note, I'm against violence most times. But these videos have been bringing me so much joy. It's just insane that you could be walking down the street somewhere and someone who doesn't like the way you look for whatever reason has the absolute audacity to come up to you and want to fight, or to come up to you and tell you where you should be, or to come up to you screaming that you should go back somewhere. What? Listen, I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, believe that we should be evolved beyond violence. But it's clear we're not. So until we get above that, I am perfectly okay with lessons, and I do not believe anyone is above getting their asses kicked. And I saw this one video of this woman with no teeth. Well, no, she had teeth. There were teeth there, though they were the color of the golden arches. And that's what she had in the front of her mouth. She had what looked like golden arches. And it looked like she visited the golden arches more than a few times. So the lady with the golden arches told a man that he should go back to the ghetto. He was walking around minding his own damn business. And she said, go back to the ghetto. He turned his camera on and he said, what was that? And when she was going to repeat it, she exposed her golden arches. And he was like, what? Your teeth. When he said that, she tried to cover her teeth with her tongue and she drove off. But it's the audacity for me to go back to the ghetto. And he said, you need to go to the dentist. Those things shouldn't happen in a polite society, but damn it, we don't live in a polite society. So if a bitch comes for you, let that bitch have it. Okay? That's where I am in life right now. If she comes for you, let her have it the same way she's giving it. Let her have it the same way she is giving it. Y'all don't run up on people. I don't care how much you don't like a person. I don't care how deep your racism is. Unless you want to see Jesus that day, don't run up on people, because you don't know what you're running up on and what point are you trying to prove. Run for other things. Run for office. Run for Jesus. But don't run up on me. Run up on the right person. It's going to be some sad singing and flower bringing. You know what kind of fatigue I have? People fatigue. I have people fatigue. I love people. Well, let me be clear. I love the idea of people. I think people, the idea of people is amazing. People can be beautiful. You could see the whole world in their eyes. People can bring you so much joy, so much love. People can unite. People can be community. I like the idea of people, but the execution of people leaves a lot to be desired, right? It leaves a lot to be desired. I'm sure there could have been a better way. I just don't know what that way could have been. Because what the fuck are we living with? Like, what the fuck are we living with? I've said for many years, I'm not a religious person. Okay? I'm not a religious person. And I am not attacking religious people. Whatever you believe is what you believe. And I hope whatever that is makes you better, that it elevates your spirit somehow, that it elevates the world somehow. But I've said for many years that Jesus needs better representation. Jesus has the worst PR people in the world. Churches being okay with what's happening in this country. I don't understand. Better PR is absolutely necessary. Because when I hear someone saying they're a born again Christian, they're an evangelical Christian, when I see shirts that say guns, God, and Trump, Jesus needs better representation. We in trouble, y'all. Is this how some of the people felt when the Titanic was sinking? Like there were some people who were in absolute denial, right? There were some people who were terrified. And there were some people who were just oblivious, just like, is the dining room closed? Yes, bitch, you're about to die. Thank you for listening to the Rich Spinster podcast. You can find the podcast in its entirety at the video form on YouTube. Listen to the podcast on Spotify, iHeart, and Apple Podcasts. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon.